Good afternoon, everyone. This morning, I didn't really know what to talk about for this live because it's the last Monday of January. And January, the theme for me was sharing. So I talked about different sides of sharing and sharing your work and the importance um, of sharing your work. So this morning I was kind of stuck, like how do I round this off? Like what more do I have to say about this? I mean, I can continue and repeat myself, but is there anything that I'm missing? And of course, and some of you might think this is such a weird habit of me, but it's my evil plan to have you all on the Sovereign Oracle by the end of the year. Yeah, very evil plan. I just thought, just pick a card because I mean, it's a good thing that February for these videos are going to be about self-care because I have a lot to learn there and I've been running around like crazy for the past few weeks. So it's also very unsurprising that I'm not always as inspired and I need a little help to figure out what it is I want to say. So I picked this card this morning and I was like, that is perfect. Like immediately, and that is the thing, like these cards just help me like spark the little brain like itchy that I already like I know this is something that I can talk about, but sometimes you just forget. Like if you're running around all the time, if you're working 24/7, which is basically what it feels like what I'm doing these days, it's just good to have something that just takes your mind off things and steers you in a particular direction. So this is the card I got today. So it's about visibility, which is of course something that I talked about already in the sharing. Like you need to become visible, you need to share your work. It's very important. It makes you a better writer. And we do need that validation. We do need to know whether what we're doing is okay. So share it. So this card in particular was really interesting to me. And these are the three, like most of you will know how this works right now. Like it'll give you three phrases, and one of them or more will resonate with you, and you just go with whatever resonates. So the first one is claim your bright light, which I always think is a good thing to do. And the second one is your perfect co-creators are seeking you out. Allow yourself to be seen. And the third one is it is safe to be witnessed. And that brings me to the topic of today, because as much as I talked about sharing and the importance of sharing your work and what you need to show people what you're doing, I think what I didn't talk about yet is how important it is to share what you truly want to be sharing. So the things that you truly want to speak up about. So this is what I want to talk to you, hence the title, Speak Up so the other weirdos can find you, because I want to talk about speaking up, claiming your voice, and claiming your stage, like saying the things that are really true to you, and writing the things that are really true to how you see the world. Yeah, just writing what you want to write instead of writing what other people think you should write, or not writing what you think other people might frown upon or think weird. Just staying true to yourself. And I recently actually talked about this with one of my clients, who is going through that right now. Like she knows there are certain things that she wants to write about, but she's also very much afraid that the people in her direct environment will judge her for it. If she writes about these things, and that is of course, you do, like, depending on what you write about, I think like whatever you write about, it's scary when the people who know you read it. It's a very vulnerable thing. But if you write about things that topics that are provocative, or maybe a little twisted, or in any way confrontational, it's even more scary to let people read that, because you're showing them a side of yourself that you probably haven't shown them at all, and maybe you've never shown anyone. Maybe you just have this one good friend that you talk this through with, but it could be that this is just something that you want to explore. And it can be very, very scary to then maybe not the writing down, but having to share that with the world. Like, this is actually my message. This is what I want to explore. This is what I find interesting to write about. Please don't judge me. And whether the writer is in any way responsible for what they write, that's a completely different discussion. But I definitely believe that you have to write what you need to write. Like, I believe everybody came here to do something. something particular. Everybody has a particular story to tell, and we need your particular story. We don't need you to write what everybody else is writing. No, we need to hear you write about that topic from your particular perspective, because you will have something different to bring to the world, and we need that. We need that particular voice. So what I talked about with this client is that there's this very scary part. And it's really funny, or funny, like you'll also all believe that. Blah. It's been a busy day. I've talked about synchronicity a few times already, I think. So this morning, on Facebook, this meme came by, and it was like a cartoon of someone in the dark, like you just saw the eyes, and then it said something like, "Well, I know that when one door closes, another one opens up, but oh, the hallway." And I thought that was really striking, because this is exactly what I try to explain to my client, is that the moment you start speaking up for yourself, by speaking up I mean writing what you want to write, claiming that space, like claiming your own voice, and making that space for yourself in the world. If the people around you do judge you for that, because they cannot understand why you would think these things are interesting to explore or whatever, there is a chance that these are not your people, and that you need to move on and find the people who are more like-minded. And this is, for me, the absolute reason why you have to stay true to what you have to say, because, like I said in the title, there are other people like you out there. Like I find it myself, like for years I've silenced myself because I'm very opinionated. I have very strong principles. I have very strong opinions about certain things. And I've been warned for years to keep that a little bit to myself if I wanted people to like me, especially in the writing business. But what I find now is that the more I speak up, the more I attract people that think similarly. And even if we disagree, at least I attract the people who I can have a proper discussion about this with, and that is because of course that I have very strong opinions and that I have very strong principles doesn't mean that it's all fixed and solid. Like, I love a good discussion, and I love somebody to challenge me and make me see it differently, so I can like, I'm allowed to change my opinion, but I need someone who's willing to have the discussion with me. And a lot of times people aren't willing to have the discussion in a very fruitful way. It's like, the highway or no way at all. So to come back to that is, since I started doing that, I've gathered so many people around me who are more like-minded. And no, we don't agree on everything, but at least we get to see each other grow, because we at least are able to have that discussion, and we're able to do things differently than other people. A lot of other people are doing, and we can support each other in that. But like I said, like the hallway part, that is a scary part, and that is exactly the part that I was talking about with my client, is that for her, she's very much like, she is still in that group of people, like she's with that group of people, that she's very much afraid they will judge her if she starts writing really what she wants to write about. Like, if she really starts to dig deep and write like the nitty-gritty stuff that she wants to write about, she's afraid that these people might judge her. So my advice to her was, well, you have to do it anyway, because that is what you're called to write about. So you need to embrace this and do this. But of course, we also need to acknowledge that it's very scary, because there is this hallway. Like, if she closes that, if she starts writing, if she starts like being true to herself in her writing, the other people might take a step back and be like, I don't know what you're doing here. But you won't have found your people yet, like your whatever you want to call it, your tribe, your clan, your like-minded group of souls. You won't have found them yet. So there is this, I tend to call it the no man's land, but I loved it in the meme that they call it just the hallway. Like, if you close one door, but you haven't opened the other door yet, it's very dark. There is no light coming in, and you feel so alone. And then the trust, that this is where the trust comes in. Like, you have to trust that at one point you'll find the other doorknob, and you can open that door, and there are the people who do understand you and do support you in what you write. And actually, these people will also help you grow in that they will bounce off ideas with you. They will make sure that your practice gets better. But that hallway part, that is the very scary part. Like, because you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know, you don't know if you will ever find. You don't even know if there's gonna be another door, because people can say that another door always opens, but what if in your case it doesn't? And you have to trust. You have to trust that there are other weirdos like you out there. There are. I mean, seriously, there are so many people on this globe. There will be someone, at least one person, who thinks more like you than the people you are outgrowing in a way. Maybe outgrowing isn't the right word, but at least the people that you allow yourself to hold back. And another thing, and this is a very unpopular opinion of mine, but just imagine, like, just in case, what if indeed for you, so this is worst case scenario, okay? You start writing what you want to write, and you start losing, maybe you won't lose the people, but at least you'll lose a little bit of connection with them, because you start doing something that is true to you, and they don't know you like that. And maybe some people will actually stick around, you never know. But what if people will leave you behind, or you will leave them behind, and you find out that there is no door? What then? What if you're just there in that empty, dark hallway just by yourself? And I know this is a very unpopular opinion, but I still believe that it's better to be in that hallway by yourself, all alone, doing the thing that is true to you, than not being true to yourself, but having community. Because having a community like that is not really having a community. You're not, if you cannot be yourself, you cannot do or feed your soul, this is not the right environment for you. I know loneliness, like being alone, that is not very attractive. And I will repeat, like, I do believe at one point you will find that right doorknob, and you'll open into a room, and you'll find your community. It'll happen. But I just want to, if you don't believe that, if you're afraid that that won't happen, just think what it would be like. Just imagine what it would be like if you were to stay true to your current community, but cannot be true to yourself. Is that worth the sacrifice? That is something that I want you to think about. We don't have to think about it, but that's something that I'm thinking about, that I was thinking about today. And I think for me, this is a good way to round off January, in which I talked so much about sharing. It's not just about the sharing, it's also about what you share. And for me, this is very much a call to you to write what is true to yourself, and have faith that your community is out there. If you haven't found it yet, it is out there. And these day and age, it's so much easier to find community. The digital age has made things so much easier for you. So have trust that this will happen, and do what you want to write anyway. And I want to finish this off by one of my favorite quotes. I got the name wrong. So it's a quote by Cyril Connolly. And it's funny because I tend to throw quotes around. I have no idea who this is. So if anybody knows who this is, just write it down. But tell me in the comments. I have no idea. But I love this quote. And this completely sums up what I've been talking about today. So, and I remember the first time I saw this quote, and I was like, yeah, this is really, I found this quote in one of my periods in which I was struggling a lot with not being able, I wanted to speak my truth, but a lot of people advised me against it because they thought I would, oh, hi Sherry, let me see. Yes, absolutely. I think I told you before as well. Just trust that there are people out there who will make you feel at home and understood. And I know that is what 2018 has been for you. So thank you for saying this, and have a great day. But maybe this quote is actually a really good one for you as well. So here it goes. And I wanted to say, for me, this quote came at a very, very at a time when I was struggling to speak my truth about the writing industry and the author mindset. And it's stuck with me. So here goes, and I'll share it as well in the comments. So Cyril Connolly says, better to write for yourself and have no public than to write for the public and have no self. So that will be what I wanted to end this with today. As I said, from next week onward, we'll talk a month about self-care, which is going to be fun because I'm really bad at self-care. So this is going to be fun exploring this with all of you. Have a good rest of the month, and I'll talk to you next month. Bye-bye.